Hey everyone, welcome back to all our YouTube viewers and audio listeners on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you're joining in from. Welcome. And if this is your first time tuning in, thanks for joining another episode of AMA, Affiliate Marketing Answered, the show where we bring one expert, a brand operator, an agency owner, someone who has been in the weeds, and run affiliate marketing programs for a brand before to answer your most frustrating, your most specific questions around affiliates. Today is a very special episode. I have somebody who has a really old connection to our team at Saral and Sathi, somebody we've spoken to multiple times and who has also, almost built this product out with us. Yeah, I'm very excited to welcome Noël Breese to the show today. Welcome, Noël.
Thank you.
Awesome. Noël has years of experience in the influencer space, folks. She's led and scaled the entire affiliate and influencer program at Heart and Soil, and she's now consulting e-commerce brands on their influencer and affiliate marketing programs. And a little story before we get to the episode. I was scrolling on LinkedIn, as you do, when I saw a post from Noël, and that it's I haven't seen her posting often, and we might want to encourage her to do that after this episode. But she posted about her Substack, a blog that she had written, which was titled "I used to plan parties for billionaires," and such an amazing hook, such an amazing title that I had to go and read it immediately, and it kind of blew me away. The way Noël described affiliate marketing through this analogy, it was rooted in her experience, and it brought me so much joy to read it that I reached out to her immediately, and I was like, please be a guest on AMA, and very graciously she said yes. So we'll link the article in the description below. Please go and read it. It's so well written, and there's a lot of like insights in there. We're going to dive into them today, along with her time at Heart and Soil, and very, very, very excited. Noël, welcome again.
Thank you. And what a beautiful introduction.
Thank you. Cool. Let's dive right into it. The way we want to start this episode to sort of set the tone. Our first question is, what is your hot take on affiliate marketing? Something that you've seen a lot of brands getting wrong, or something that most people don't think about or talk about? What is your hot take on affiliate marketing?
Ooh, a hot take on affiliate marketing. I would say that if you are an affiliate marketer and you are maybe building out your influencer team, or you're building out your influencer program rather with creators inside, if you have a good time, if you have fun with the creative brief and with maybe the campaign brief, your creators will guaranteed have fun making the campaign for you. But if you're not having fun while you're making the campaign, oftentimes it does tend to flop. So have a good time, like put jokes into it, put things that you would actually want to read, versus like a 24-page list of talking points.
Yeah, that is awesome. I haven't heard that one before. Most of our guests usually talk about, you're measuring it incorrectly. This is not how the channel works, etc., which is bang on. But like, this is such a different perspective, and I love that. Awesome. Great note to start the episode with. Cool. Noël, our first question is from this brand operator who said, our top affiliate just got offered more money by a competitor. Do we match it, or is there something else worth putting on the table first? How would you answer that?
I would say to get as curious as possible about the offer as you can. What makes it competitive to that creator, even outside of the money? Maybe there's an additional set of perks, because more money up front doesn't necessarily mean more money long term. So I would gather as much info within reason from that creator, then take it to your team, take it to your brand's marketing team as intel, and either A, see how your brand can work with them to maybe meet them somewhere in the middle, or B, learn from the competitors and use that to create more of a competitive edge down the line. But the last thing I would recommend is kind of just reactively matching the offer, because it's kind of like teaching the affiliate to leave ultimately. So I would get curious about the offer, learn as much as possible as you can, and not match it reactively, but really take what you can get from the intel.
Makes sense, because it's a human next to this opposite you, so you have to understand human psychology. It probably is something beyond just like monetary compensation. If you dive deeper and as you said, if you're curious about their life or their aspirations or what motivates them, that can actually unlock something for you. That makes a lot of sense. Awesome. So sticking with the people side of affiliate marketing for a second, I think it's a good segue for our next question, which is applications are pouring in, and I can't tell who truly loves my product and who just found us on a coupon marketplace. How do I vet these applications? What are the tells? Very real situation for a lot of brands who see maybe like a skincare product who just got like viral on Instagram, and then we see a lot of inbound application. It's hard to go. It's hard to like sort through these. So what would be your advice for this brand operator, saying how do they vet them? What are the tells?
And this brand operator, like you said, yes, is going through something so universal, and it's getting harder and harder to tell nowadays too, because someone can just generate a quick application. And I would say, similar to the first question, this is where curiosity and a little bit of intuition is definitely going to come into play. There are some key tells, some key takeaways with applications. So for example, if someone is saying constantly, I love your brand, your brand, your brand, and there's nothing specific to the brand whatsoever, I think that's a good tell regarding, okay, maybe this is something that they're mass sending, not necessarily a problem, but just something to keep an eye out. And fun little Uno reverse, you could flip that onto when a brand is sourcing creators and really ensure not to say, I love your content, I love your content, I love your content, but pick something very specific to that creator about the story that they're telling, what they want to be seen as, what they're going through. And ideally, a creator is also matching that to the brand in some way, maybe the mission. Or so, for example, if it's a health brand, and you see a creator, this is another tell, right? If they have a page and it's all healthy recipes, okay, brand alignment, we love to see it. But if it's a page of like thirst traps and there are no links to any brand deals, then clearly there's not brand alignment. And that does sound very elementary, but it is so important with brand fit, and who you're onboarding into your team is such a big part of the story you tell as a brand. And you want to maintain the brand integrity as much as possible. A third tell could be engagement, consistent with the size of the page, consistent with the following. These are just some small little tells within the application, but outside of that, part of the vetting process also can be the beginning of the relationship, meaning you can reach out to someone who's applying and say, hey, your application really stuck out to me. I have a couple of questions for you before we want to move you to the next round. This is something, a lot of people want to just automate. Yes, no, this is not a fit. This is a great fit. A lot of the times there are gems that are just lurking in the background that maybe they didn't have a super strong application. Maybe they didn't even have the time to write out a good application, but they would be an amazing fit for the brand. And what I'll say lastly on this one is the people that apply to your program and want to genuinely be involved and or are already posting about your brand, it's these people that are going to serve as some of your best affiliates because they're already huge fans starting out.
Absolutely. Is there anything that the brand can change maybe on the application form itself? Something that brings out the real personality in them? Is there something like that you can recommend in the application form?
I'm thinking out loud of like something that I remember people having fun with, a question that people enjoyed. And it was, why would you rock as an affiliate for XYZ brand? And just letting them rip.
Yeah. And it makes them like research a little bit more about your brand, try to like relate that to the content that they're making. Similar to this theme that we've picked up about relationships. As it scales, it's harder to manage. And something that I remember from when we spoke about your work with Saral, you mentioned how you remember birthdays and milestones. As that roster grew for you, what had to become process, and how did you still manage to keep it relationship focused and personal at the core?
As the roster grows, ideally, so does the team. And I recognize that that's not necessarily always the case for brands. It just sometimes doesn't pan out that way. I would like to always keep notes in the affiliate's profile, wherever that may live, whether that's in the software or in a separate house separately. Paying attention to little things in emails. So say someone is taking a social media mental health break postpartum, making a little note, okay, in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, check in just to see how they're feeling. Like just paying attention and taking little notes from the correspondences. A lot of the times people will tell you a lot about what's going on in their life. And it certainly becomes harder as you scale. There's absolutely no question about it. But I would argue it's even more of a priority. And that's because with time, as you scale, so are they, right? They're honing their creator skills. They're possibly engaging in more brand deals and partnerships. There are more things that they have to keep track of as a creator as well. So it's never been more important, I would say, to stand out and prioritize that relationship focus, even if it feels like, okay, the roster's getting crazy, make that a priority. And you can absolutely, again, there are things you can automate, there are flows, there are processes, but more than anything, just make that a huge priority aside from the performance side of things as well. One of the creators that I was working with at the time was taking a mental health break from social media at large. So she was not posting at all. And it was an email that it was a correspondence between both of us. And it wasn't like, oh, she automatically, after we talked, went to start posting about social media. But she said that the conversation inspired more creativity, and she was feeling more creative in other areas of her life and was excited to bring that back into the fold on her socials page when she felt ready. And I thought, like, how cool that a conversation could inspire creativity in someone else, and ultimately led to her coming back on in a completely different way. She went through like kind of like a personal mom rebrand, and it was so cool to see. But that's one of many examples, but not with the intention in mind to like obviously it's great when people post, but like learning more about their story, learning more about the story they're trying to share on social media, and also recognizing that they are a whole person and there's a complete other story that lives outside of who they present themselves to be online, and getting curious about that side of them, the whole person, can also help foster that sense of creativity. But I love that question.
There's a whole human outside of this. Whatever you see on social media is very like surface level. You have to understand there's a real person behind that screen. So I love that. I think very, very important for everyone watching this to understand that and absorb that influencer marketing is not like any other channel where you're just interacting with a screen or maybe like a dashboard. Humans are involved at every step of the way here, and it is a relationship channel at the core of it, and that's that, guys.
Well, one thing I'll add to on that note is like a lot of times brands they'll encourage your creator, like, oh, just throw up a reel, like just throw one up. Honey, there are lights, camera, action, production, thinking about the script, thinking about like it is such an orchestration, it is such a creative act in a sense that it's something that for a creator, like I think that is completely, it takes away from the actual value that's not what it is at all, of just throwing up a reel. They're planning content, they're planning their whole calendar, they're planning their month. A lot of the times, I also hold that a lot of creators or a lot of people with Instagrams are not UGC creators, and they're top of their field athletes or top of their field scientists. That's a whole other category. But yes, the question of like, oh, let's just throw up a reel. While I wish that was the case, it doesn't work on the brand side and it doesn't work on the creator side either. It's a whole thing. And I think just, there are people that do that. I wish I had those skills, but alas, that's not the actual reality of things.
Yeah, absolutely. You said something about performance, so I wanna take that as the segue for the next question. Everybody's concerned about the performance of affiliate program because it can be hard to measure, it can be hard to attribute. So and a lot of like lean teams especially struggle with like proving the value of their work. We've seen affiliate revenue from influencers typically represent only about like 20 to 30% of overall sales directly. which excluding the halo effect they drive. How did you discuss the value of affiliates and influencers internally when the numbers on a dashboard just undersell your work?
One thing I'll say is that 30% to top line revenue of sales is a healthy, in my estimation, I think that's a healthy place to be. I think that's already a good sign, even a good starting point. But outside of the whole string of maybe performance metrics and KPIs that we hear a lot talked about in the affiliate world, I like personally to look at other metrics that are slightly softer. So metrics like active affiliates in the program to obviously to gauge the health of the program. Posts per active affiliate, how many affiliates are actually posting that are active or that are in the program, and also like UGC volume, how much on a monthly basis, how much UGC, how is this channel a UGC machine? Is it serving its purpose and just continually bringing more content into the fold? I think this can tell a lot of the story of the health of the program. And again, soft metrics and hard metrics are a great barometer, but when these softer metrics are measured and looked at, and it's not just, oh, they're onboarded and now they're into the flow and they're active or inactive, but like how many days dormant, what do they need to, because these are ultimately the metrics that are going to help re-engage creators. And it's a living, breathing program. It's not like you're in and it's over and that's it. When you're in, that's when the work begins, really. And keeping that healthy flow and aliveness going for creators and giving them real marketing moments and tangible things to talk about.
This makes so much sense that otherwise you're just going to keep adding affiliates into your roster. You're just like optimizing for the wrong metric. If you look at total affiliates in your program, what if like 60% of them are not even posting anything about you? So you've just bloated the number without it meaning much. So yeah,
that really can tell the true health of the program. A lot of the performance KPIs are wonderful for understanding, okay, revenue, CAC, ROAS, EMV, like what, but in terms of like the program at large, I think it is worth really considering, okay, yes, and there is a huge percentage of the program. For a lot of programs I've seen, it starts out as it's the majority of creators that are in the program have just fallen off and so understanding these diagnoses can help really figure out just how to re-engage people in a fun way and ultimately make it fun for them to want to participate.
I want to go back in time a little bit, rewind a little bit. Back when you joined Heart and Soil, the brand was young and the program had not taken a specific shape. Is there something about how you ran things in year one that you'd never do again now that you have the experience that you have?
Oh yeah. In year one, I threw a lot of things at the wall to see what would stick. And I want to preface this too by saying that I was very lucky. I had the good fortune at Heart and Soil to be very entrusted by the CEO, by the leadership team to just run with things. So I'll tell you, Muskan, oh my God. So my first year at Heart and Soil, it was actually within my first, I believe, 3 months of joining the team. And I thought it would be fun to throw a meetup with affiliates and friends of the brand at a local park in Austin, Texas. And we had like 100 RSVPs. I was so excited about this. 12 people came, like literally 12 people came. It was a huge flop. It was heartbreaking. I mean, every guest went home with like 20 pounds of catered food, but like of leftovers, but like it was so bad. And I remember thinking, okay, I love this. This is so wholesome. Heart is in the right place, but like, let's focus on the foundations first. Let's get those email flows. Let's get people feeling like they're a part of something before we just immediately try to do some sort of in-person event. But that actually fostered the idea to, okay, how within the program, even digitally, can we bring people together who otherwise wouldn't have connected? How could we as a creator program, as an affiliate program, be almost like a matchmake creators with people who are doing maybe a similar style of content or people who only work with health and wellness brands? Heart and Soil was so amazing and had so many connections to other brands in the space that it became like a cool connector in a way to help creators meet people who are on the same mission as they were. So intention was there, and it was a year later where we did actually have another in-person event, LOL, and 200 plus people came. It was wonderful. It was great. We really made an impact in the community, but oh my God, that first meetup, heartbreaking.
I can imagine. I mean, it was a. Are you sure they were just like not the internal team? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
12 people. I think it was 12 outside of the internal team, and then the internal team were there, but not even the whole internal team. So the photos, this thing, it looked empty. I think the photos from other people in the park were what made it look somewhat full, but it was not guests of the event.
Yeah, you're just calling random people in the park. Hey, come stand for a photo. Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Nobody had a full circle moment, and then started from the bottom, but then you came back with 200 people. That is amazing. That just shows that you have to go back to the fundamentals and improve that before you take a leap with like your creative idea. This is something that we hear a lot from brands that we work with, and I think it's a good meaty question. So they say our commission is competitive, our product is good, but our affiliates feel more like vendors than partners, and we don't know how to close that gap. Where should we start? I think, again, very important to go back to the relationship core messaging, but how do they make it not feel like transactional, and what is like the first, second, third step of that?
Ooh. So what I'll say here is that if affiliates feel like vendors, what a great invitation to look within and see, okay, where are we treating them solely like vendors? Because I do have a caveat here, which is that this vendor transactional mentality, it does make sense in the way that it is about business. Commissions are a huge part of the bottom line. This is a business relationship between two people. It's a huge part of things. And frankly, there are creators that don't have a lot of time. They don't have the time of day to like send an email update or like opt into a campaign or like tell us about their personal life. That's just the way it goes. And at the same time, I would start by asking them, okay, what do they want to see? What do they need from the brand? A lot of the times it's something as simple, Muskan, as needing less. Like, for example, less maybe mandatory campaign specific talking points. Like, oh, we can't run this beautiful UGC reel you made because within the first 3 seconds you didn't say the 5-word hook that we gave you in the brief. So really taking a step back to let them do their thing, I think is so huge for creators, because it's an effort together. It is a two-way street. So holding the fact that yes, this is you would not be in this program if you weren't getting some sort of commissions. There is a business aspect to it, and that is okay. That is the foundation of this. And there's this whole other world here where we can have fun collaborating and we can meet you at a place, your audience the best. Let's lean into that and work with you to really just have a win-win.
Absolutely. I think as marketers, we get so locked into our own heads and we start thinking that every idea that we're thinking of is so cool and it's going to resonate with the end consumer. But we forget to have, as you mentioned, like that conversation. There are people involved in this, and very important lesson, I think, to just talk to them, communicate with the person that you're partnering with. They want something out of this, you want something out of this. Just like combine those forces and make magic happen. So, coming to like one of the most, I think, daunting topics with like influencers and affiliate marketing, which is attribution. A lot of brands struggle with understanding the effect of like how do we justify putting more budget behind this program when we don't even understand the ROI of it. So, and especially like in a category like health and wellness, people usually see a few posts before they really buy, because it's like you need to build that trust with the creator as well. So how do you think about giving credit when a sale probably came from more than one affiliate? That is more like a normal situation, that not just one affiliate or influencer affected a single sale. There were like almost like a row of it. So how do you think about giving credit to a sale?
Attribution is such a toughie. It is such a toughie. This is like the $1,000,000 question, I would say. I think there are a lot of multi-touch softwares, although imperfect. They're out there totally, in terms of attributing a sale through the whole process, through the whole funnel. I think longer cookie windows can help as well. But I would almost divorce recognition from attribution. What I mean by that is like, I like the idea of credit per post, even if there are no sales generated from a post. Maybe they're not even sharing their discount link in a particular post. It might be more product placement, but some sort of point system or like gamification of the whole thing to get people excited and see that they're tangibly growing in a program. But again, on that performance side, that attribution is the $1,000,000 question. I don't have the exact answer, but I think there are a myriad of things that can be done, including the cookie window and the multi-touch softwares to help with that, to help get a more comprehensive look at things.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And Sati supports multi-touch attribution. We usually don't plug the platform,
Shout
but
out.
this, yeah, shout out. Was there ever a case where maybe the numbers on your dashboard said the affiliate is not performing, but you had a feeling somewhere in your gut, in your heart, that that wasn't the whole story? Is there any example or incident that you can share with our audience?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And how funny is this question too? Cause it's like not funny in terms of like comical, but just, it's like truly the mind intuition combo that comes in. There's the performance side and then the kind of softer, like intuitive side that's really feel based. I have one instance in mind. It was an athlete I was working with a brand at the time. And she was expensive. It was expensive to work with her. It was a paid partnership on top of affiliate commissions. And Muskan, I kid you not, in the dashboard after 4 months, I think she had maybe 15 conversions total. And I was like, okay, but I couldn't even justify it numbers wise, but she was making great content at the time. So I think that was my saving grace. But it was crazy because at the very end of the 4th month, she introduced us to someone in her athletic category who ended up being one of the top 3 performing affiliates in the program subsequently. So it was like all about, it's so funny. Like it's so hard to codify this and to come up with a system and a streamline it. You really never know what can happen and what doors a relationship can open. And I think it's such a great invitation to hold those intuitive feelings, also hold the reality. Okay, there are 15 conversions in the dashboard after 4 months. That is less than ideal. How can we work with them to obviously increase that? But also one thing I want to say that kind of echoes a thought earlier is just that there are people on Instagram who have huge platforms that are not UGC content creators. They are, like I said, athletes, they're scientists, they're poets, they're at the top of their craft. They're like Nobel laureates. Like they're not, at home doing the kind of chic carousel. It's so different. And so I think recognizing, okay, when we set out to work with someone, we can hold both of these performance commissions goals and brand awareness goals, but we have to be really honest with ourselves about what the expectations are and build into the contract. Okay, what happens when we don't hit this projection? What do we do? Thinking in advance, and also holding that relationships can be so much more fruitful than you could even imagine when you take a chance on someone and then they subsequently introduce you to someone in their category and their niche that then she then became one of the top 3 performers. So it's really cool to think about it that way in the kind of networking aspect of just, you never know, and kind of staying open as much as possible. And of course, I recognize that comes with sometimes having more budget or more flexibility, but when you have an intuitive almost whisper about someone, or you have this feeling, to heed it in to the best of your abilities.
Yeah, trust your instinct, trust your gut. You can't measure everything. Not your dashboard can't even show your halo effect. So it's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's so funny too, because this whole world of influencer marketing, it seems like it started out right when I started getting involved in 2022, right around it seems as though it started out as relationships solely, and then it somehow funneled into, and I think this is with paid media, and it funneled into performance. And so there are people who are sitting in these director of partnership seats that are performance solely. And while of course that is so important, it is like my favorite thing about what I do is trying to wed those two together as much as possible, and really trying to stay focused on that relationship aspect as well, because I do strongly feel that is what will grow the program, and just paying attention.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was there something that you followed as a philosophy or as a structure that worked well in the boardroom?
You know what? It's so funny too, because every brand is different. And I feel even hesitant to share some of my thoughts here as like blanket advice, because every single brand is so different. I would say look to the leadership team, see how they like to be informed. How do they like to be in the know? A lot of senior leaders that I've worked with, numbers people. So start with the numbers, paint a beautiful, comprehensive picture of the numbers and where they stand, and then paint them the picture that they couldn't get if they were to just put that into Perplexity and get a rundown. Give them the actual substance of, okay, this is how many people we reached out to. This is what I'm going to do differently next month. This is how I'm going to iterate this campaign. I noticed we had a 67% click rate on this campaign. This is what I think worked. Here's how I'm going to, just constant iterations. And the capacity to be really curious about your own work and not get stuck. If there's like something that worked last month and it's like, well, I'm going to make it work this month, like trying to get out of a place of forcing and trying to be more flexible. And I find creators really respond well to that, the ones that are excited. Also, I think with presenting to leadership, something is not for the faint of heart and definitely not one of my skills, but brevity. Just being like really brief, to the point, succinct. This is the picture. This is what I'm going to do. This is how these are the bottlenecks. This is how I'm going to fix it. What do you think? Not my skill. Something I've had to learn.
I'm right with you. That's actually great, like even like universal advice on how to be a better operator. So I love that. That's such a great note to end on as well. I know people are going to walk away from this and they're going to rethink things in their own programs. But to everyone listening in who wants to keep the conversation going, reach out to Noël on LinkedIn. We'll put her link in the description. Go connect with her and ask her more questions. Start a conversation. She'd love that. If you've got a question about affiliate marketing for our next episode, drop it in the form linked in the description. If this helped you at all, folks, do us a favor and like it, share it, subscribe it, and send it to one other affiliate marketer that you might know who needs to hear this. Thank you so much, Noël. To everyone tuning in as well, I will see you in the next one.
Thank you.